Hello again. Some of you have asked for the part of the ride before the first part. This is the part from Carnforth, which we're just leaving. This part is called Mill End, and we're leaving Carnforth and we're heading off towards Leighton Moss. Over on the right hand side is an industrial estate where DPD operate. This is the railway bridge, which Carnforth used to be a railway town, and that railway runs over to what's the main line. Well, in fact, there are two railway lines. One of them goes, well, they're both quite major, but I'll stop faffing about and get on with it, Peter. Goes over to up the West Coast line, and the other one goes over towards Leeds. Right, this is Mill End proper, and it's rather a long way from Carnforth if you want to do a bit of shopping. And there are no shops here. I think there's a pub, but that's about it. You've got quite a long walk to go into Carnforth itself. In the centre of the picture, that lump is called Walton Crag, and that is limestone, and it was heavily quarried, and a lot of the houses, the older houses in Morecambe, have got lumps of limestone on their walls. What do we do with this lump of limestone? Let's stick it on the wall. And there's one place that's actually got a garden which is almost entirely composed of limestone rocks, and it looks nothing more or less like a quarry, and it's horrible. It's all grey and dull and boring. Anyway, we're coming into Walton now, and this is the first part of Walton, which is obviously a lot newer than the older part of Walton, which we have been through in the past. But these are, I should think, 1930s houses. We're going to turn off to the left here up Townend Road. Walton is ahead of us, the main part of Walton. Famous for George Washington, apparently. There's a pub in there called George Washington. George Washington's Arms, probably. And this is also a newer part, isn't it? An extension of Walton. I'm just going to pull in for a car to go past. There he goes. And off we go again. Now, if you don't like my voice on this, of course, you can mute the whole thing. And it'd be rather like one of those cards you buy that inserts, we leave this blank for your own message. And you can play some music, or you can hum, or do whatever you like, really. Anyway, we're heading off now towards Leighton Moss, which is the RSPB reserve. I often travel this every couple of months anyway, not only to have a look at the birds at Leighton Moss, but also to pick up birdseed. They're doing especially nice birdseed over there. It's a big sack, so I have to take a car. I can't get a sack of birdseed on the motorcycle. This bend is horrible because it's all ridged now. It's quite a tight bend. You can see great potholes in it. It's awful. So we take that very gingerly. And now we're allowed to go as fast as we like. Well, up to 70. I don't think we will, though. If we look at the speedometer, which is in the picture, along with the windscreen, you'll see we don't. Well, I think we're probably doing about 25 to 30. And it's still very dull, isn't it? But trust me, the sun will come out later on. And this is actually quite a pleasant little road, this section, I find. I hope you're enjoying the ride, even though we haven't got the sun. And my virtual friend over in Spain, of course, he always rides in sunshine, don't you, ER? So I hope you're enjoying a little bit of wet road riding. Now, I've experimented with the position of the camera, and if it wasn't for the windscreen, of course you'd have a clearer view, but I do like the windscreen. It stops an awful lot of wind hitting me, which I found very tiring. But I've tried the camera in all sorts of positions and decided this is the best place for it. Over on the right hand side there is a holiday cottage area. A lot of puddling, as you can see, and mucky weather, and I think I mentioned in the other video that the crankcase shield is really proving its worth, because when I got back from this ride it just washed straight off that part. Anyway, the rest of the bike was a bit mucky, but not too bad. Now, over on the left hand side we're coming up to sort of reed beds area, and Morecambe Bay is, you can just about see Morecambe Bay over on the left there if you've got good eyesight, and you're looking at this on a fairly large screen. If you're looking at it on a mobile phone you won't be able to see much at all. Now we are talking early February here, so it's not bad. I mean, at least we haven't got black ice. I won't be riding on black ice, would I? I did say, didn't I, and I mentioned this in an earlier video, that I wouldn't actually be riding in the rain or on wet roads or anything like that. And in the past, I used to do a lot of riding all year round, and if I want to ride all year round, then I've got to ride on wet roads, it seems. So here we are. Now that's the reed beds proper over on the left hand side, and this part floods very easily, and we do actually see some flooded road just a bit further along, but it's not so bad today. I was quite surprised. This is normally where it floods across. There is, half the road is a bit wet. Oh, a bit more there. There we are. Yes, I think I was saying I've tried the camera in all sorts of places, and I've decided this is the best place for me anyway. It means I can just plop the camera on the handlebars and forget it. And I quite like the clearish view through the windscreen. I don't like seeing the mirrors and all of that. And on the helmet it made every time I moved my head it made me, when I re-watched the video again, it made me feel a bit queasy. Now, just come up to the junction on the right hand side there. That comes down from Wharton itself. It goes up over a hill, and it's quite a nice little run. You do get some nice views. That's Leighton Moss over on the right hand side and the left. That's all the reed beds you can see on the left quite clearly. And this is a favourite area for the Brent geese to feed. We'll just come up for a couple of little bridges over the fields. One there, and another one coming up over here. And then we're just coming up to a railway line. The railway line we're going to cross over, which is on a bend, of course. If it was dry it wouldn't be so bad, but it's wet, so we're going to take it very slowly, as wet rails aren't conducive to good grip. And this railway line runs from Lancaster over to Barrow-in-Furness, through Silverdale and Ironside, and then across the Morecambe Bay. That's the railway crossing. Now, in the past, when I was 50 years ago, more than 50 years ago, I'd have whizzed over there, without a care in the world. Sunshine! Oh,